We're going to take a look at the Altra Provision 6. It's $140 available now. It's about a 28 millimeter heel toe stack, zero drop. It's a mild pronation control shoe that can be used by neutral runners. Hello everybody, Sam from Road Trail Run. Today we're going to take a look at the Altra Provision 6. So the Provision is a light stability shoe in the sense that it's both light because it's going to come in at about, in my 8.5 US, it's 8.8 ounces or 250 grams. So about 9.1 ounces or 258 grams in a US 9, size 9. So it's light, but it's also a light stability shoe in the sense that it provides some pronation control. We have Altra's guide rail, and it's a significantly changed guide rail because over here we have the 4 and the 5 had the same approach. You see that high foam guide rail. It's soft, that rose up. Now it's much lower profile, as you can see, but it's still going to provide very good support. I've already run in them once. I'm going to take them out again. Then you'll also notice these two straps here. They tie in through the upper. The tongue is not gusseted to a stout panel. In the 6 we have a more continuous panel. In both cases the tongue is not attached to the panel. So here you can see it's kind of a thick material. There's really no stretch to it. Provides really good support. And that's supposed to provide kind of adaptive support along with, you see these overlays here, and we have more overlays on the medial side than on the lateral side. So this is how the support is provided. The foam guide rail, which isn't really any firmer. It doesn't, maybe about the same as our Altra Ego foam, which was also in the 4, but I'm not so sure about the 5. The 5 had the same higher guide rail on the medial side. The foam in the 4 was Ego, as we have in the 6, and the 5, I believe, was A-bound. So we returned to Altra Ego, which is kind of a responsive foam. It's not the softest, but it has some nice rebound. So those straps really hold you in. You'll also notice we have a kind of higher Achilles collar than we're used to in Altra. They've had many shoes with this super low thing. I didn't particularly like it. Here we have a really good hold. I've already run in them. From the heel through the midfoot, you've got great hold. And that is critical because we have Altra's famous foot-shaped toe box. Super comfortable here. I have a relatively narrow foot and I am well held because all the rest gets there, holds the rest of the foot down so the front of the foot can splay out without being sloppy. We have a little bit of toe bumper action here, kind of a dense, this is a sandwich mesh kind of knit, but you can see how it's more dense around the sides, works really, really well. Another big change from the 4 and the 5 is the outsole. As you can see, we had a completely different outsole in the 4 and the 5. Now we have a more, and I can feel it on the run already. I'm going to take them out and give you more impressions. Much more pronounced sense of Altra's inner flex. Inner flex are the grooves through the outsole that also are mirrored, if you will, on the upper side underneath the sock liner. So here they're deep. They kind of line up with the way your toe bones work. You'll also notice this outsole has kind of a patterning that gives it a lot of kind of spacing, little spaces. They do attract some stones, but it feels really, really good on the road in combination with the inner flex. So not quite as kind of big pads of solid rubber. Here we have these kind of grooved pads that mimic the foot. So it is absolutely true to size. I'm going to take them out and give you more impressions from the run, but no question true to size at my 8.5. So it is $140. And this overall stack height, zero drop, about 27 at the heel, 27 at the forefoot. I don't think there's any change there. I measured the same with the 4. So it is a nice choice for both your mild overpronator and your neutral runner. And I'm more of a neutral runner, but I do like some light pronation control, kind of adaptive pronation control, particularly on easier runs. So I'm going to take them out and give you some impressions from the run. Awesome day to run here at Cable Genesee Beach in our Ultras. I'm going to hit the road in a bit, but it's just too nice. So at the other end of the beach, and I came from down there, that's Genesee Cable Beach here in New Hampshire. So let's talk about the fit. Again, very, very broad toe box. Really quite surprisingly well held, even with my narrow feet here. This is really, really a roomy toe box. I imagine just about everybody should be pleased. And you can see the sandwich mesh has plenty of give, so if you even have super wide feet, the mesh will give a bit for you. Heel hold, excellent, excellent, very good through the midfoot also. Our panels that are on the inside and the overlays on the outside and the guide rail, very, very subtle. It's more kind of a vertical feeling from the top of the midsole all the way up, kind of more even kind of support than, say, a guide rail in a Brooks or in the Nike Infinity React. It is there, it is felt. This is my narrower right foot, and I think it's acting, if you will, or interacting with my stride a bit more than my wider foot, because I'm noticing the support a bit more here, because probably I need it. So I think that's how it's intended. Lace up has been super on these, very easy, kind of nice, thin but adequate laces. Expect breathability to be very good as well. So let me keep going. We'll talk a bit more about the ride, but just a few words about zero drop, which is what we have, zero from heel to toe. If you're new to it, take your time getting used to it. Altra, who sent us the shoes, always recommends that. Personally, I've never really had any issues transitioning, but you should go easy and get used to it. You don't have to be over cautious unless you start to feel something. You know, you're going to be working your legs in a different, more natural fashion. Personally, I prefer a bit of drop, but I really enjoy an Altra, especially if it's decently snappy as this one is. You get up on your forefoot, midfoot, on this super wide platform up front, and boy, you feel like you got super bouncy flippers on. Okay, back from the run, let's talk about the ride, and then we'll also compare to the Rivera, a very similar shoe from Altra. So in terms of the ride here, well, I'm going to flip them over because the most important thing, I think, is the geometry, outsole, and the inner flex that's playing here, because what you really feel is a lot of cushion. We have 27 millimeters, or at least up front, but also you feel the interplay of the deep grooves that come through the shoe, not only from the bottom, but from the top, from the sock liner layer, and especially I'm feeling our little outsole here with these nubs that, while they create platforms, they kind of conform to the ground. I also think they add to the flexibility of the shoe. So this is, the front of this shoe is really neat. It's a very natural, actually, and Altra always says that, feeling ride. Less of kind of a solid all across platform, more dynamic with the toes working with the grooves, plus the interplay or the deflection of our outsole here. So it's you really feel a lot of ground sensation with lots of cushioning. So if we want to say this is a very good shoe, if you want to try an Altra, of course be cautious when you start. It's particularly good, I think, if you're a forefoot to midfoot striker and you've never tried an Altra, because you'll really take advantage of our broad toe box, super broad toe box, well held, midfoot, the support from the overlays and the inner panel tying into those blue laces. They're really even neutral runners. There's very little sensation here that this is a, quote, pronation control shoe. Now, let's take a look at a very similar shoe from Altra, the Rivera. Yes, it does weigh less, about 8.4 ounces versus 8.8 here. Somewhat lighter upper. We do not have any of the panels on the medial side. Although we do have a logo that gives you some support. A very comfortable, fast, more neutral shoe. You'll also see, I'll flip them around, the more conventional for Altra slotted heel counter. I much prefer what they've done here. Much better hold. Both of them have a very balanced ride. Both of them have more than adequate cushion. Remember, even if you're, say, 26 here and 27, 28 here, that's kind of in the general territory of a normal trainer. But you've also got the same amount up front. So all these Altras have a tremendous amount of forefoot cushion. If we flip them over, we notice, yes, we have kind of an alignment of around the toes, but this is much more natural feeling to me, much kind of more pleasant, more kind of in tune, in touch with your feet and the road, whereas over here we have more kind of platform-like elements, maybe not quite as deep grooves, similar approach. We also have more coverage towards the heel here in our Provision 6. So it just creates a nice platform underfoot. And as a more pronation control shoe, you can see here we have rubber on the medial side. That provides a bit of the stability, whereas over on our Rivera, more kind of neutral shoe, we just have the foam, although it's decently stable. So the Provision 6 is available now, including at our affiliate partner, Running Warehouse. You'll see the link down below. A really fine, I'm going to call it a modern Altra. So it has all what we love about Altra. The zero drop, foot-shaped toe box, the inner flex approach they've had for several years that ties in with the outsole geometry as well. But here it's just a more modern looking, more modern feeling take on the Altra concept, and I think very well executed. I'm going to say I prefer it to the Rivera. Rivera's a little bit slipper-like, a little sloppy, and I appreciate the support, even though it's mild, that the panel and a little bit of extra foam the guide rails here provides me. We're going to have a full written review soon of the Altra Provision 6. Hope you've enjoyed the video. We have hundreds of reviews over at RoadTrailRun.com in written form, most often multi-tester. Thank you very much for watching. Enjoy your run.